Hi, I'm Yvette Taylor, and today we're here at Create a Cook in Newton, which is a cooking school for adults and kids. And we're going to be making a pear, pecorino, and balsamic onion tart. And the first component of the tart is a balsamic onion jam. So we're going to make that condiment first. And we're starting off with our onions, which is a sweet onion. That's what I like to use. You can use any sort of white onion, but I like the flavor of a sweet onion. And I've sliced it very thin. Using a mandolin, and I cut it into 4 quarters and then sliced it on the mandolin, so you see you get these nice thin slices. So I've got a skillet here over medium-low heat. I'm going to start by adding the onions first. Now it's really important to keep this heat at a medium-low to low. There's no oil in the pan. What we're going to do is we're just going to sweat and dry out the onions. We don't want to caramelize them in this recipe, and we don't want to brown them. We just want to let them gently release their liquid, and then we want that liquid to dry out. And that whole process should take about 10 minutes or so. But you'll be able to tell by looking at it when you see that the onions have softened up, but they're still a nice white color, and there's no liquid left in the pan. So now we've let our onions sweat and dry. So you can see here that they're not brown, they're not caramelized. They have a nice translucent color, but they still have a little bit of crunch to them, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So when you get to that point, it's time to add in the rest of the ingredients. So again, we've got our white balsamic vinegar. We've got a mixture of yellow and brown mustard seeds. It's going to add a nice flavor and make the jam really pretty. And then we've got light brown sugar here, which is going to give it its beautiful golden color and its jam consistency. And then we're just going to add a little pinch of salt. And we're going to cook this down for about 20 to 25 minutes. And what you're looking for is for the sugar to caramelize a bit, and you're going to see it start to bubble. And what you're looking for is for it to get to like a jam-like consistency. So once it gets to that point, when you're dragging your spatula or wooden spoon through the pan, it's going to leave a trail, and you're going to see the sugar sort of bubble up on the edges. And that's when you know your jam is ready. So then you're going to take it off the heat and put it aside to completely cool. So this is our completed onion jam. It's cooled completely, and you can see it's a nice jam-like consistency. It's a beautiful golden brown color, and you can see the yellow and brown mustard seeds all throughout. So now we're going to assemble our tart and bake it. And what I've got here is just a regular store-bought puff. It's really easy to use, so you can find that in your freezer section of the grocery store. And you can follow the baking instructions for oven temperature for that puff pastry, but it's typically around 400 degrees, so you want to have your oven really preheated well and hot. So what I've done is I've just rolled this out a little bit, and I've put it into a tart shell. You can also roll it out really thin and put it inside a cookie sheet as well. And I'm just going to trim the edges, and this is a very rustic tart, and I don't want to waste these edges, so I'm just going to kind of tuck them under and add them to the tart. And so our base ingredient is going to be the onion jam that we made. So just going to take this. You're not going to need the whole recipe that you made. You just want to spread some all across the bottom of the tart. Then our second layer is going to be our sliced pears. You can use any type of pears that you can find. You can slice them thin as if you were going to make a pie. I happen to use a mandolin, so I got these nice pretty slices. And I'm just going to layer them all around the tart in sort of a decorative fashion, but you certainly don't have to be fancy. So now I've got my next layer on, and what I'm going to do is pop this into the oven for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to put my cheese on top and finish with that. So I'm going to add the pecorino cheese and then put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes or so until it's done. You want the cheese to get nice and melted and really bubbly. So our tarts come out of the oven, and the cheese is nice and golden and melted. And now for the final touch, which is the absolute best part. We're going to drizzle it with honey while it's hot. And then you want to just give this a minute or two to sit, and then you want to cut it and serve it while it's warm.